This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Forgot I had that. Oh, fantastic. That'll be even easier to edit then. Welcome everyone to episode 238 of the Foreign Affair podcast. I am Edward Green. I am not joined live tonight, though, by my call-in crime, Wes Bradshaw. He will be joining us later from parts unknown for what I'm sure will be a very melancholy Anfield Corner for the week after what happened in the Champions League today. But unfortunately, show must continue on, and it will continue on in our little segments here. I have plenty to recap here on the show, of course, this week. Another week in the Premier League. We're through match week 13, which means we are over one-third of the way through this Premier League season. Also do have the Champions League. Week 5 is now done as well in that. So just one more group stage game for everyone to play. And I'll also have a brief League Cup update as well, now that the round of 8 has been finalized. We also have news and notes, and of course, a little watch for you here at the end. As always, we are presented by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop, as well as Alicia's Pillows and Things. Do you like pillows? Do you like things? Delicious, delicious things. Well, I'm going to tell you where you can get not just pillows, but also things. And that is at Alicia's Pillows and Things. You can find her wares on the Facebooks. If you just search for Alicia's Pillows and Things. No, I'm not doing that right now. What are you talking about? Of course I'm not doing that right now. Alice, no, that's not what I typed at all. It's Alicia. Haha, got it. First try. You can find so many great things on there for your home or office. Right now, you can check out some NFL themed gear, because you know us, we love the NFL here on the Foreign Affair podcast. We do. So you can go check that out again, Alicia's Pillows and Things on Facebook, for all the great deals for this holiday season. Now, on to the football. Football that matters. Let's hit up what happened in the Premier League this past weekend. It was a crazy weekend of Premier League action. We're going to recap it all right now. Get things started off with Everton beating Cardiff 1-0. Gylfi Sigurdsson with the goal on the hour mark for the Toffees, as they get an important 3 points as they are heading into a big rivalry matchup coming up this weekend in the Derby. Manchester United still struggling a little bit. They get a draw at home against Crystal Palace, 0-0. Not a whole lot to report there. Just some more Manchester United struggles. No struggles for the other Manchester team, though, as City demolishes West Ham at the Olympic Stadium 4-0. A brace for Leroy Sané. His first goal coming as the third one of the match for the citizens in just about 30 minutes of play. Complete control from the outset. for Man City. Much the same for Liverpool as far as the score goes, but it took them a lot longer to get going. Watford had a penalty appeal that could have actually gone through on a foul by Andy Robertson, but did not get called. So that was around the 50-minute mark, I believe. Liverpool would go on to score 3 goals after inside the final half hour, thanks to Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Bobby Firmino all putting goals at home against Watford. So Liverpool again with the big 3-0 win there. Easily the most entertaining match of the week was Fulham-Southampton at Craven Cottage, as Fulham gets a huge 3-2 win against also struggling Southampton. Alexander Mitrovic with a brace. This one canceling out the brace from Stuart Armstrong of Southampton. Southampton scoring goals, just, not from their strikers, unfortunately. But they do fall again at Fulham. 3-2 is the result again for Fulham with the win there. Leicester City salvage a draw at Brighton and Hove 1-1. A late penalty for Jamie Vardy equalizes Glenn Murray's 15th minute goal in that one. And Tottenham finished the day off in style with a rampant 3-1 victory over Chelsea at Wembley. And when we say, a lot of times we say on the Afford Fair podcast, scorelines flatter to deceive. I believe saying that this score flattered to deceive Chelsea flatters to deceive the phrase flatter to deceive. And there's another phrase we usually use. X could have had 5. X could have had 6. X could have had 7. You know what? I'm going to take it the next level. Tottenham could have put up a 10 spot on Chelsea. They didn't. And I'm super bummed that they did not. But this was a thrashing. You might remember about 3 or 4 years ago in Harry Kane's first season fully in Tottenham, the New Year's Day match that was 5-3 for Tottenham and also wasn't really that close once Tottenham got going. This one, very similar. Tottenham had so many chances, but got enough to get the 3-1 win again against Chelsea. Olivier Giroud with a late-on consolation goal in the 85th minute, but that was really all Chelsea could muster. Just a complete dominating performance from Tottenham, and for the first time, we've been waiting for it. This might have actually been the complete Tottenham performance we've been looking for this year. Still give up the goal, but I mean, beyond that, this was amazing for Hotspur Nation. So again, big win. I believe only they're 6th against Chelsea in the Premier League, but I believe they've also won 3 out of the last 5. So, or 3 out of the last 4 even. 3 out of the last 4. There you go. On to Sunday's events now, as Bournemouth fell late on to Arsenal 2-1 at the Vitality. Just a terrible own goal got Arsenal on the board from Jefferson Lerma in the half-hour mark. Josh King got them back level just before halftime, but Aubameyang with the goal in the 67th minute sealed the deal for Arsenal. Bournemouth again looking very, very resilient and very tough for a lot of these teams. Unfortunately, not picking up those wins. They failed against United, also failed now against Arsenal, but still a very, very good team Eddie Howe has on his hands. And Huddersfield with a giant win on the road, 2-0 against Wolves. A famous brace for Huddersfield for Aaron Mui, the Australian, with a goal in each half, got Huddersfield Town and David Wagner's men on the right side of the score sheet as they pick up a big win. And then on Monday Night Football on NBC Sports, it was Burnley 1, Newcastle 2. An own goal in this game, as well as Ben Mee scoring for the wrong side. Ciaran Clark's goal in the 23rd minute, all Newcastle needed to get past Burnley. So that is how the Premier League stacked up this past weekend. Let's get to your schedule for this upcoming week of action. Friday, you will have Cardiff taking on Wolves at 3 p.m. That's a big one here. So we're looking to see if Wolves can bounce back. Again, one of the early success stories in the Premier League. Wolves falling to Huddersfield. Let's see if they can get back to winning ways. On Saturday at 10 a.m., you have 5 choices to watch, including Leicester City versus Watford, Man City versus Bournemouth, another tough task for the Cherries, Newcastle versus West Ham, Crystal Palace versus Burnley, Huddersfield versus Brighton and Hove, then at 12:30 Southampton versus United. Maybe Southampton's last stand. On Sunday, big matches on Sunday. Chelsea versus Fulham at Stamford Bridge in a London derby, and then it's more derbies to come as it's the North London derby at 9 as Arsenal hosts Tottenham, and then at 11:15 we go to Merseyside as Liverpool hosts Everton. So that will do it for the schedule. Now we take a look at the table after 13 weeks of play. Manchester City leads Liverpool by 2 points for first place. Tottenham, with their win against Chelsea, jumps up to third place and is just 3 behind Liverpool for second. Chelsea 2 behind Tottenham in fourth. Arsenal 1 point back of Chelsea now in 5th place. Everton has climbed all the way up to 6th. United now in 7th. Bournemouth and Watford level on points for 8th and 9th place, respectively. But moving on from that, we are going to head right into the Champions League. So here we go. Group A. A lot has been decided this week. So much has been decided. In Group A, Atletico Madrid, even though they went down to 10 men, still keep a clean sheet against Monaco with the 2-0 victory. Goals from Koke and Antoine Griezmann in the first 30 minutes ensure the victory for Atletico and sees them now atop the group, 2 points clear of Dortmund, who drew 0-0 at home against the Belgian side Club Brugge. So that means that going into the final match week, Dortmund will have to make up some ground on Atletico if they want to win the group. However, both teams are now going through, Atletico and Borussia Dortmund, both will be going through to the knockout stage of the Champions League. Club Brugge, with 5 points, will be going through to the Europa League knockout stage. Monaco, you're out. Just 1 point through 5 matches. Group B, still stuff to be decided here. Barcelona, with their 2-1 victory today against Eindhoven, with goals from Messi and Piqué, get them the group win. 13 points through their 5 matches. They will top the group no matter what happens in match week 6. But Tottenham, with their 1-0 victory against Inter today, thanks to a goal from Christian Eriksen in the 80th minute, keeps Tottenham's hopes of making it to the knockout round alive. Both Tottenham and Inter Milan are on 7 points. Tottenham right now own the head-to-head tiebreaker against Inter Milan, thanks to the away goals between the two teams. So Tottenham, as things stand, are going through to the Champions League knockout. Inter would be going on to the Europa League knockout. Eindhoven is out, no matter what. They only have 1 point. But Tottenham have to go to the Camp Nou in the final match week. Inter Milan gets Eindhoven at home. Tottenham must at least match Inter Milan's result on their final week to progress. Match or beat, I should say. Which means very likely that Tottenham will need to get a victory against Barcelona at the Camp Nou. That's a very tall task, but Tottenham will be going down kung fu fighting. So that's good to see. Over in Group C, not a lot's been decided yet. No. Napoli gets the 3-1 win against Red Star today. Dries Mertens with a brace there. But the big match, of course, was PSG versus Liverpool, and PSG gets the 2-1 victory, avenging their opening round loss against Liverpool at Anfield. They get the victory, and now Liverpool sit in 3rd place with 6 points, but they're not out of it yet. PSG are on 8 points, Napoli are on 9. The problem is, Liverpool must either win. They do face Napoli at Anfield on the final match week, and of course you'll hear more about this from Wes Bradshaw at Anfield Corner. But, again, Liverpool must win either by multiple goals against Napoli or win 1-0, and I think then some other things have to happen to advance. That is assuming PSG beats Red Star. Because right now, Napoli and PSG currently both own tiebreakers against Liverpool. So tough goings there for Liverpool. They absolutely must win. They must beat Napoli or they're out. All right, and by out, we don't even know yet what that means. Because if, in the crazy world where Napoli beats Liverpool and then Red Star beats PSG somehow, hey, Liverpool's just completely out. So nobody's out of it yet. Red Star cannot go to the knockout stage of the Champions League. They're at 4 points back of PSG, who are currently in second. So they can't advance there. But they can still leapfrog Liverpool. It is possible. Napoli and PSG are definitely going on to a further round. We don't know what yet. Not even Napoli has locked their spot into the Champions League knockout stage. So still so much to play for when Group C heads to match week 6. And again, Liverpool will be hosting Napoli. Red Star hosts PSG. Over in Group D, things have been decided there. Porto will top the group thanks to their 3-1 victory against Schalke 04. Would have been almost a perfect match, but a late penalty from former Tottenham castaway Nabila Bentaleb gave Schalke their only goal of the match. That was the top of the group decider, as Porto will finish first, Schalke 04 will finish second, Galatasaray currently in third place after losing to Lokomotiv Moscow 2-0 in Russia. And with that, Moscow has given themselves a lifeline to get to the Europa League knockout stage. It's their first 3 points for Moscow of this round. And now all they have to go do is go beat Schalke, basically. So Porto will be heading to Galatasaray in the final match as well for Group D. Group E, things have been decided there. Bayern Munich, thanks to a 5-1 drubbing of Benfica. Hey, we can talk about them now because everything's fine. They are going to advance on to the next stage. They have not won the group, and that is because Ajax gets a 2-0 victory over Athens. Dusan Tadic with a brace there. Oh, how Southampton probably wishes he was still playing for them. But both Bayern and Ajax will be heading to the Champions League knockout stage. Benfica, with their measly 4 points, will be going to the Europa League knockout stage. Athens currently on 0 points. They'll have one more try at getting points as they head to Benfica for the final match. But again, that will not matter. Ajax does host Bayern for the final spot. If Ajax win, they do win the group. So that match very much matters. And of course, as we've seen, the draw can be very, very important between that first and second seed. So still a big match between Ajax and Bayern. And of course, in the first tussle between the two teams, it ended in a 1-1 draw. So again, but Ajax must win to top the group. Group F, Manchester City lock in their spot, but not in dominating fashion. A comeback 2-2 draw at Lyon. A brace, though, from Lyon's Maxwell Cornet. 2 great goals from him. Gave Lyon what they thought would each time be a winning lead. But the Coon, Sergio Aguero, scored in the 83rd minute to save City once again. City currently sit atop this group with 10 points. Lyon are at 7, which means City are likely going to win the group. It will be very hard for Lyon to overtake them. Lyon, though, they still haven't locked in a Champions League knockout stage spot yet. They must get a result against Shakhtar to advance. However, Shakhtar beat Lyon in that final matchup of the season, or of this group stage. Shakhtar will be going on to the Champions League knockout stage right now, and that is because Shakhtar beat Hoffenheim 3-2 in Germany, thanks to a late winner for Shakhtar from Tyson, the Brazilian, scoring in the 92nd minute for Shakhtar to get them all 3 points. And that means Hoffenheim cannot go to the group stage of the Champions League, or the knockout stage of the Champions League. They can go to the knockout stage of Europa League, but they're probably going to have to beat Manchester City in Manchester to do it. So very tall order there. So that is how Group F took place. Group G, again, more things have been decided, but still some to play for. Real Madrid with a 2-0 victory at Roma with goals from Gareth Bale as well as Lucas Vazquez seals the deal for them. And they now are at 12 points Victoria Pilsen with their win over Moscow 2-1 sets up for a dynamite finish to this group stage. Roma, 3 points back of Madrid for first. They're going to need a ton of help and a lot of things to go right to overtake Real Madrid for the first seed. But both Real and Roma will be advancing to the knockout stage of the Champions League. Pilsen and Moscow both on 4 points. So right now, Pilsen with the tiebreaker over Moscow. And now Pilsen will be hosting Roma. Moscow has to travel to Madrid. So you have to think Pilsen the more likely to advance to the Europa League knockout stage. And Moscow gets knocked out, but nothing decided yet there for that third spot. And then finally in Group H, it was a late winner from Mauro and Fellaini that had Manchester United see off those pesky young boys. Man, Manchester United just has trouble with young boys, I guess. Yeah, we're almost done with that joke, guys. Don't worry. But United with the late winner means they have qualified for the knockout stage of the Champions League. Juventus as well, thanks to their 1-0 victory over Valencia, thanks to a 59th minute goal from Mario Mandzukic. So both those teams will advance. Valencia, with their 5 points, will be going to the Europa League knockout stage. Young Boys, 1 point, they're out. United can overtake Juventus, but that would involve United beating Valencia and Juventus losing at Young Boys. So we will see if that happens. Still a chance, but not super likely one. So that is the Champions League recap. December 11th and 12th is when the final matches will be played of this Champions League group stage. And we will have our teams advancing on. I believe I can go real quick. Again, the teams that have already clinched a spot in the knockout round are as follows. They are Barcelona, Porto, Real Madrid, Schalke, Roma, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico, Bayern, Ajax, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Juventus. Those teams are already into the next round. So finally, as far as matches go, League Cup action doesn't get into the quarterfinals for a couple weeks still, but Leicester and Southampton did play this week in a makeup match in the fourth round. Leicester with a 0-0 draw against Southampton does go through 6-5 on penalties. Of course, this match had to be replayed after the tragic death of Leicester City's owner happened when this match was scheduled to take place later that week. They postponed it. It has now been played. So Leicester City will be taking on Manchester City at the KP Stadium in the quarterfinals. So that is now set. Again, those quarterfinal matchups include Arsenal versus Tottenham, Leicester versus Man City, as we mentioned, Middlesbrough versus Burton and Albion, and then Chelsea versus Bournemouth. So that is your League Cup news. As for the news and notes, Copa Libertadores for 2018 might never finish. It's very possible. The second leg of the final was postponed after a ton of fan violence, especially against the Boca Juniors from fans of River Plate. I know it's something. Shut the fuck up. Boca Juniors, players had, their bus was tear gassed. Some players got glass in their eye. Carlos Tevez was injured. A lot of these players would not have been able to have played in the game if it had gone on. It looked for a while like CONMEBOL and FIFA were going to go on with it. And then someone apparently with more than a quarter of their functioning brain stepped in and said, no, this is a really fucking bad idea. So thankfully, that did not happen. But again, it may never happen. We don't know between these two Argentinian rivals in their edition of the Champions League. May never get a result. So we'll see about that. Benjamin Mendy, also, we talked about him last week. He will be out 10 to 12 weeks for Manchester City. And then, lastly, an interesting article coming out of all places, Forbes, thanks to Sam Pilger. Jose Mourinho clings on as Manchester United has no obvious successor. And all I have to say to that is, excuse me, Sam Allardyce is available. I mean, let's be real here. There is an obvious successor. So that's going to do it for news and notes. The watch for what are we watching in the week that was, or the week that will be. Well, quite frankly, guys, not a lot. Not a lot has been on lately, unfortunately, with the Good Place and Superstore taking a bit of a break until next week when those shows come back. We do have now a firm date on Mob Psycho 100, the second season. Oh, Mob Psycho 100 is a great show. Great theme song. Amazing theme song. January 7th, 2019, just a few days before the 9-9 returns. So January is shaping up to be a super good month of television. Still looking out for that One Punch Man. I know it's coming next year. I want that One Punch Man season 2 too. So there you go. That's the watch for. So with that, I believe we are done with my stuff for the week. So let's head it over to Anfield Corner with Wes Bradshaw. Sorry, my mate. I got to do it. Wes, please take it away, my friend.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Anfield Corner. I'm Wes Bradshaw, coming to you from an Arctic blast of feeling in eastern North Carolina. As I record this, it is 7:15 in the a.m. Just pulled my sixth straight day of having a shift, third straight night. So, needless to say, the delirium, as we so often refer to on here, has started to take hold. It's kind of found its way seeping into the daily life. I've got one more stinking shift this week, and I can finally get a little bit of sleep. And what helps, a sleep-deprived sports fan more than your team taking a trip to Paris and just laying an egg for the first 30 minutes of the match. Of course, we've got two Liverpool matches to talk about, and unfortunately we start, because that's just where my mind is freshest right now. We start with PSG 2, Liverpool 1, the end of Game Paris, and just a night where the Reds were not up to snuff early. They were absolutely punished by Burnett and Neymar. Milner gets the penalty just before the half. And then in the second half, it looked like Liverpool were going to threaten, were going to possibly take control of the match, find an equalizer, and then who knew what would happen. Well, the equalizer never came. For all the possession that Liverpool had in the second half, for the solid build-up play, at the end of the day, weren't able to even muster hardly a shot on goal. I want to say the only shot on goal in that match was the Milner penalty, and that's just not good enough. For the first time in their history, Liverpool have lost all three of their away matches in a Champions League group stage. And scary as it is, they still find themselves basically controlling their own destiny. They've got to go, in 2 weeks' time, they've got to beat Napoli. If they beat them 1-0, they're through. If Napoli scores, then Liverpool have to beat them by 2 clear goals, which means if they score 1 goal, it would have to be 3-1, 2 goals, 4-2, and so on. Is Liverpool up to the task? Absolutely. Plus, it's at Anfield. Anfield is the cauldron that is the fortress. I mean, to play this final game of the group stage with a chance to go through, there's absolutely nowhere in the world Liverpool would rather be. So the chance is definitely there. It's not going to be easy, but Liverpool have shown in Europe that they're a much different team at home than on the road. So, what happens, Liverpool's destiny remains, TBD, to be determined. But that's going to be a big match coming up. That this PSG match, though, just... Klopp, I think a lot of heads kind of scratched a little bit when Klopp announced his midfield, the Milner, Wijnaldum, Henderson midfield, which, it really, really splits opinion, because sometimes that group has done well, but too often they're just caught out with no creativity, no real threat going forward from that group. When Naby Keita came on, you started to see a little more push going up the field. Xherdan Shaqiri came on and offered some creativity, but unfortunately, Milner, Wijnaldum, and Henderson are all basically the same player, with each one kind of having a little something different than they do. And unfortunately, it just leaves way too much to be desired. And Liverpool were just run out. They were run out in midfield, and PSG were able to get the 2-1 win. For PSG, that means that they do not. Oh, let me think real quick. Yeah. All right, PSG do control their own destiny. If PSG go and win against Red Star, they're in. The big one, of course, comes down to Liverpool and Napoli. A Napoli draw will get them through. And also, once again, if they can score a goal at Anfield and then just keep Liverpool from beating them by 2, Napoli will go through. Of course, they dispatched Red Star Belgrade 2-0. So they took care of their business as best they could today, yesterday, or whenever that match day. So it's all to play for in a couple weeks' time at Anfield. I'm making my early plans to head down to the pub, be with my Liverpool brethren, wear my Boom t-shirt, and cheer on the Mighty Reds, see if we can pull them through. The last time we went into a match like this where we had to either win 1-0 or win by 2 clear goals was a December night in 2004 when a man by the name of Steven George Gerrard hit one of the all-time great shots in Liverpool history as Liverpool eliminated Olympiacos and went on to lift the cup for the 5th time. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, but 5 times. 5 times you're champions. On a brighter note for Liverpool, this past Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. Saturday? Whatever, this past weekend. Don't hold me to this, folks. I was working. I think it was Saturday. Liverpool, it was Saturday. I was pissed. Never mind. Liverpool were able to continue their unbeaten record in the Premier League. A 3-0 win over Watford. All 3 goals coming in the second half. As domestically, man, that defense is just fantastic. Only 5 goals conceded over 13 league matches for Liverpool, joint best in the league, themselves and Man City. They're not putting teams to the sword quite like Man City score-wise, but, there are a lot of theories out there. Some saying that, Man City are basically going all out this early in the season, trying to catch Liverpool slipping, because of course they know that is Liverpool is their top rival at this time. Pep Guardiola all but admitted it in a press conference a couple of weeks ago. That is their top rival. So City are pushing as hard as they can, and unfortunately for them, just unable to really make any distance as they lead by the Premier League by 2 points over Liverpool as they go forward. But for the Reds, a big win against Watford. That's the kind of win that you need, especially coming off an international break. That's the kind of win Liverpool needs. These are the kind of matches, go to Vicarage Road. These are the kind of matches in the past that they're 3-3 or they're 2-2, or we lose it 2-1 or 3-2. And we're seeing a much different Liverpool team this year, I think, especially in the Premier League. Now in Europe, like we said, things are getting a little funky in Europe. But in the Premier League, this Liverpool team's just been fantastic. They're doing their jobs. They're going in, week out. Defensively, they're holding up, and that front three's starting to come around. And of course, the addition of Xherdan Shaqiri has really made a difference creatively for the Reds. Now, Jordan Henderson picking up a red card at the end of that game. He will not be available for the Merseyside Derby this weekend. Of course, Liverpool-Everton going to be locking horns. So it'll be interesting to see the midfield that Jurgen Klopp puts out, especially with the insipid display in Paris this past, just a few days before the match. There's talk of Fabinho and Keita. I think right now the midfield a lot of Liverpool fans would like to see is Keita, Fabinho, and Shaqiri. We'll have to see what happens. Klopp does have some options this year. Henderson being down there, you've got to fully assume Henderson would have been starting, ready to go. He has a really good record in the Derby. And of course, you always, you want your captain for a match as big as the Merseyside Derby. But that'll be this weekend. Liverpool, Everton. Everton are on a good streak right now, so really this is a nice matchup at this point of the season between these two rivals. So a big match to look forward to. It's the Derby, so it's always big to look forward to. But this year, with Liverpool making their run at the top, Everton making their run trying to creep up toward a top 4 spot, it's a good looking matchup. At this time, excuse me folks, the yawn is real. It tells you how big the struggle is. I've been up since 2:30 on Wednesday so I can watch the Liverpool match. So. Anyway, guys, no So Raw this week. I haven't had time to watch anything on television this week other than what we're watching in the center at night. A lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We're going through all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, so that's been fun. I have a new show on AMC that I've been recording. I think it's called The Drummer Girl, which I think has like some espionage in it. I don't know. It looked interesting, so I've DVR'd it. Haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have more for you guys this week on the Anfield Corner, but that's what I got. It's what I got. Yeah, Green and I were joking a little earlier. If Tottenham and Liverpool don't get it done in 2 weeks' time, it looks like we're going to have to start doing Europa League updates every week. So that doesn't sound appetizing to literally anyone. So up the Reds! Come on, you Spurs! Let's get into the knockout phase of the Champions League. You can do it, boys. You can do it. That's been this week's Anfield Corner.
And that's going to do it for Wes's portion of the show. Can't wait for him to be back next week. And there has been a little bit of discussion about potentially doing a live, as in we're actually in the same room, podcast in a couple weeks for the final edition of the Champions League group stage. So maybe look out for that. That could be a very interesting podcast depending on what happens with Liverpool. But anyway, that's going to do it for episode 238 of the Foreign Fair podcast. Once again, big thanks to NGSC Sports and NGSCsports.com. We never stop, as well as Alicia's Pillows and Things. You can find them on the social media as well as us as a collective on Twitter. We are at AFA Pod. He is at Wes Bradshaw 21. I am at Edward Green. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube via our parent show, the All New Sports Show. So check us out there. You can also email us at that address, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Big thanks to our podcast providers, including Spreaker, iTunes, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music Store, Podbean.com, Stitcher. I did this so out of order. Google Play Music. Yeah, iHeartRadio. The TuneIn Radio app. I think I've named them all now. I should really write this out one day. Anyway, that's going to do it, though, for episode 238 of the Foreign Affair podcast. Again, Wes will be back next week to bring you all the action from this Derby Day edition of the Premier League coming up. So until then, though, from a call in crime, Wes Bradshaw, I am Edward Green. As always, folks, stay safe and enjoy the football. And good night, Tottenham. Sleep well. What a goal by Christian Eriksen. Also, didn't talk about it, but Musa Sissoko has actually gotten good? Like, where the hell did that come from? I don't know. It's fun, though. It's a lot of fun to watch.
This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to NGSCsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Never stop. Never stop.